perimeter area of the Titan defense.
And to be honest, Ray, given the size disparity, I think they have to. They don't have a choice. Stanford play action, wants to throw, and he's going for all of it. We've got an interference call down deep. Adam Lloyd stopped to catch up with the ball, and he was simply run over. I think he was run over by John Bracci, who was playing the man and never really saw the ball.
Yeah, Bracci knew he was beat. He's in his zone, and he's got a man running up the sideline as well, and the middle was wide open. That's where the receiver's going, but Stanford lays this one up there, and now it's a foot race to get the ball. Actually, a nice pass. It would have been right in there on the money, but you got the illegal contact. That's going to be a 15-yard penalty, and it puts the Warriors in great field position, 25 yards to pay dirt. Stanford impresses me, the ball handling with that one. He faked out a lot of the secondary there to get his man wide open.
Ball is spotted at 25.
You don't often see a left-handed quarterback, and a lot of times that will throw you off as well.
Does it really make a difference? And now Frank Stanford's going to call a quick timeout.
Yeah, I think it can make a difference in that generally with a right-handed quarterback, a team will roll to the right to try and get it done. Here, everything is reversed, and you're not used to seeing that.
All right, Chuck Apap's going to talk things over, as is Rick Bye. This is the MHSAA Championship Network.
The MHSAA On Pass is presented by Farm Bureau Insurance, proud sponsor of the MHSAA Scholar Athlete Award, and by the United Dairy Industry of Michigan, promoting healthy eating habits through the Sports Nutrition Award Program, and by these advertisers.
Stevenson answered with the field goal, and now the Warriors are knocking on the door again. 1st and 10 from the Sterling Heights Stevenson 25-yard line. Stanford still has a nice rolling right. He's got to throw across his body. Has his man at the 15, all the way down to the 5-yard line. That is completed, and I think it's Scott Nays.
Yes, it is.
Who came from his wing position, but Ray, he's very slow in getting up.
Well, he got jumped on by a man. Sometimes that'll knock the wind out of you a little bit. He's got a little bit of a limp to it. I think he'll be all right, but boy, I'm impressed with the way that quarterback Stanford's able to throw the ball. Now, that's going against his bad side. There's a flag on the field, and that one's going to come back. Let's go to Tom Reynolds.
He's going to
find out where. Holding here.
Well, we've got to get Tom to turn his mic on.
Yeah,
I mean, that's a good call every time. We've got to get the mic on.
That's a treat, and I think he might be auditioning for prime time.
Well, Red Cashin is leaving, and he's the NFL official who says first down.
We have to get a tape of this off to Jerry Seaman and see if we can't help Mr. Reynolds out. But I'm trying to look for the holding. Here it is, right there. You reach out and you grab the guy, and they're going to get that. And you see the referee, Tom Reynolds himself, called that one.
Yep. So that negates a big play, and it's going to move it all the way back out to the 37-yard line.
They should come back to that, too, because they had a couple guys just wide open on that one.
Nays is on the sidelines. He's getting some attention from trainers. And that would be a big loss if he is unable to go, but it's early, so let's not worry about it right now. Stanford again with the play action. He's trying to go throwback screen, and he bounces it. He was getting a lot of pressure from Chris Nader, the linebacker, number 42, and his fellow linebacker, Ryan Losh, number 6. And Stanford turned, was surprised to see them, and couldn't get enough gas on the ball, Ray.
Well, the Titans went with a blitz of their own that time. We talked a lot about Western, their blitzing, but this time you're going to get a blitz right here, and you're going to get a blitz right here. Those guys are taking off, and they're going to go after him, and no one picks up the guy from the outside, that being Losh, and Stanford just doesn't have time to get it out there.
2nd down and 22. Scott Nays is getting a retape job on one of his ankles, so I suspect that we will see him try to go again very shortly. Adam Lloyd is to the top of your screen. Bishop to the near side. Stanford's going to scoot around a little bit, and he can do it. Now puts his head down. He'll cross the 30. Well, that's going to leave him a good 13 or 14 yards still to go to convert the first down.
Chris Nader on the stop, and boy, the quickness. Stanford, watch how quick he makes a decision to run, and this might have been run all the way. He shakes his first man. That's Jeremiah Orvello in the backfield, and now he's off to the races, and Nader's able to run him down for about an 8-yard gain. Still puts the Warriors in a 3rd and long.
And there you see Nays.
You got a little tape job. Fresh tape, he'll be all set.
The Warriors need the 15-yard line for a first down. So it's 3rd and 13. Stanford getting lots of pressure from Losh. Now he's going to step up. He loses the ball. Stevenson looked like they got
Nader's got it.
And there's a big wrestling match.
Nader and Losh are fighting over.
No, they're going to say that Walled Lake Western got it.
Oh my goodness,
back.
I didn't even see the guy down under there on the bottom of the pile. Who is that?
I couldn't tell either.
I think that's number 54, Peter Seitz.
Well, let's take a look at it. Here comes Losh at the top again.
Nice move there. But no one's open, so he has to bring it down. Losh is going to stay with it and come up behind, but that's actually 68. Orvello making the hit, but it was 58 jumping on that ball, recovering. That's Kevin Sims, big offensive tackle.
Well, take a look at this. This is going to be a 52-yard field goal attempt from Pat Gibson.
That would tie his career high.
He's hit 4 over 40 yards this year, so this is makeable. Does it have enough? Not quite. If it were 50 yards, it would have been good. It was 52, not quite.
Didn't look like he hit it that well either.
No.
A little flat, a little bit underneath it.
If we see the replay, and Jim, I don't know if we have the replay, but the snap wasn't quite right. The placement took a split second longer, and it broke his timing just a bit.
And the timing is the vital thing on any kicking game execution. You got to have the timing, and if just a little bit is off, it's going to throw you off, particularly when you're going for the long bomb, the 52-yarder.
All right, so Stevenson scored the last time, and they're getting the ball back at their own 20-yard line. We'll take a look at that replay right here. See if you can tell the placement. It seemed to be just a hair off. Gave it to Joe Alls on the first play, and he's going to get 5 heading off left tackle out to the 25-yard line.
Big Crane, Kevin Crane on the stop that time. But once again, the bigger team, the Titans, trying to hammer it up the middle, and you're going to see him try to spring one too, as Alls has the speed, as does Frank, to go the distance on any given play.
7.5 to go in our first half. Steele up at the top of your screen and Valek at the bottom of your screen, and the flag comes from the line judge when Don Valek went in motion. I wonder if he stepped over into the neutral zone.
Yeah, I think
as he
did.
Pivoted.
I think he actually lined up in it a little bit. And that is the call.
Yep. And there you see Scott Nays, number 22, fresh tape on the ankle. Back out there ready to hit.
Second down.
Where, though?
Well, of course.
Here.
Here.
Second and 10.
You know, I gave him 5 yards, and that's my mistake. It's at the 20-yard line, not at the 25. I beg your pardon. So it's second down and 10. Collins wants to throw, has good protection. Now it breaks down. Throws out for Tim Steele near the 30. Just a little bit too much air under that one. Pretty good coverage out on the corner by Paul Morandi, number 18, but the pass sailed high.
Yeah, excellent coverage that time. And the blitz is coming off the corner, but the great job of picking it up that time by big number 74, Cass Przbilski. Did a great job, and he's one of the good ones up there, 6'3", 225-pound junior.
He's also one of the small ones up there.
Yeah, if you can believe that, he is.
6'3", 2 1/4.
Yeah, they've got Nato Dinga at 296, Martin Barashai at 254, Matt Geiger, the center, at 212, and Josh Cole, 255, the right tackle. So those are some big fellas.
3rd and 10. Comes a blitz again. Nays coming up the middle. Collins scoots away. And a great catch over the shoulder by Dan Valek. He had red shirts all around him, Ray Bentley, but the ball dropped into the bucket.
Yeah, not only a great catch, but what a throw by Collins with a defender draped on his back. He's still able to get it out there and throws it right on the money. Here the blitz is coming. There's Nays, and he's going to be the man that's going to, actually it's number 40 that puts the heat on that time, and that's Rush Thompson, one of the Thompson brothers up front. But boy, just Collins put that ball right on the spot. You talk about dropping it in the basket. That was a three-pointer and then some.
Joe Alls starts right. He's got lots of green in front of him. Can anybody catch him? Well, speed makes up for a lot of mistakes, and Scott Nays' speed saved Walled Lake Western from there, because I don't think anybody else has got the angle on Joe Alls.
Nays impresses again with his speed, and if he doesn't make that play, Alls could be going all the way. And this is a nice little counter fake. He's going to get the ball, and he's going to do a little shake there at the line of scrimmage, breaks one tackle, and now as a good back will do, you use the vision, sees it open on the outside, and heads for that sideline, and Nays, with the proper angle, is able to drag him down, but it's still a nice 8-yard gain.
2nd and 2. Collins maybe changing up at the line of scrimmage. Wants to throw the quick out, and he does to Valek. Valek gets past Morandi. Valek may go. He is taken out of bounds at the 17, and there's that number 22, Scott Nays, again saving a touchdown.
Yeah, this wasn't audible, John. You're right, and we're going to look at it right here. Watch what he does. He's going to touch his head. He's yelling out, but he's going to give the receiver. That's the pattern right there, the stop route, because the defender is backed off about 12 yards, so he's going to go out, just a turn, quick turn. There's no one on him right away. Now he's got room to maneuver, and Valek is able to make the move, break the tackle, and get it down the sideline for a big gain.
From the 17 this time. Joe Alls, pretty good seam up the middle. It closed up quickly, but not until he got over the 15. I think they're pointing down to the ground.
For 28, carry the ball.
Well, if it did come out, he got it back. Looked like they were trying to get it out as they scrambled around. Gerhard, the big linebacker, with the stop on that one.
And Gerhard coming back from an injury. He missed much of this season with a broken hand, Ray.
Yeah, he went out in the 6th game, and one of the rallying points for the Warriors was, hey, we want one of our captains, Nick Gerhard, to get back in there and play a little bit. And sure enough, he came back against Brighton the first round in the playoffs, and he's been with them ever since then.
2nd and 6. Steele and Valek down at the bottom of your screen. Alls into the line, bounces off one tackler, but couldn't get away from the second. And he'll be dropped for a loss of a yard or two.
Butsky and Nays, the tandem we've been talking about all day, making the stop on him.
And number 22, Scott Nays.
Yeah, there's nothing going up the middle. Good job of filling up in that hole that time. That's big number 5 for Walled Lake's defense.
Jason
Brewer. Did a good job forcing that outside, and then the speed guys, Nays and Butsky, able to come up and make the stop.
On 3rd and 8, the Walled Lake Western crowd comes into it to get some defense going. Now, we have seen a lot of Walled Lake Western blitzes in situations like this, and they're showing it early, and here they come. Collins eludes one. He is stripped of the ball. He's picked up by Butsky, I believe. That's Gary Butsky taking it across midfield. The strip went to Tim Luzinski, number 77, and Butsky on the corner picked it up in stride and went.
Andy Frank made a touchdown-saving tackle, or Butsky was going to go all the way to the end zone. What a turnaround. What a great play by the defense this time. They're blitzing. Here comes Collins does a good job of escaping it, but 77, Tim Duslinski, gets in there and strips the ball out as Collins is trying to throw it, and there's Butsky, Johnny on the spot, and he's going to try and go all the way. Here's a man right here that's going to come in here and make the strip. Right there, knocked it out perfectly. Now this is what you call your nice hop, right there. But he's got to learn to put that ball away.
I was just going to say, that ball's out there way too much.
He's going to tuck it away at the end of the run. Okay. He feels a little pressure coming.
All right. They'll start from the 44, will the Warriors. Stanford hands off. And that was given to Dave Johnson, the fullback, for short yardage off the left side. He'll pick up a couple. 2nd and 8 make it.
Boy, what a turn of events there. The Warriors, Titans knocking on the door, a big turnover, and now Walled Lake has it, and they're in Titan territory, ready to turn what would have been a go-ahead touchdown into maybe a little cushion here for the Warriors. Who are going to spend a timeout.
Now Walled Lake Western is going to call a timeout. We've got 3:10 to go in the half. Not as much scoring as we thought we might see, but then again, it's early. Walled Lake Western scored first and still leads at 7-3. Just a reminder, videotapes of this year's MHSAA football finals are available for purchase through Advanced Video Service in Columbiaville. Each game tape will cost you $24, and you can order them by writing Advanced Video Service, 5547 Columbiaville Road, Columbiaville, Michigan, 48421. You're not going to get them for Santa's delivery, unfortunately. They're asking to allow 4 to 6 weeks for delivery. But any tape of any game, you let them know, and you write the check, you'll get the tape.
Yeah, you got to have one of those particularly if you're
playing in this?
If you're a big John Matlack fan, you got to have one of those.
Yeah, well, my wife will order one, and that'll do that.
Yeah, well, I'm getting one.
Maybe. Yeah, but you're not getting it because you're a John Matlack.
Oh, I won't say that.
There you go.
There you go. Someone's in the spirit.
Actually, got
two of them out there.
Walled Lake Western fans, and they see themselves on the big screen, and that'll get them hooting and hollering.
Every time you see yourself on the Jumbotron, boy, you got to give it all.
When you were playing, and I know you played back in antiquity before electricity and stuff, but did you sit there and watch yourself on replays?
Yeah, you always would, because you want to see what happened on that play.
Good or bad?
Good or bad. You want to see what happened.
That's Donnie Davis scooting around from his wing position, but pretty good defense there. Stacks him up as he gets to the 40-yard line.
Keith Mosley on the stop on that one, but going back to the Jumbotron, you always want to watch yourself if you made the good play.
And if you made the bad play, do you kind of hide?
Well, you want to make sure that it doesn't happen again, okay. So you want to watch that one too. But not as enthusiastically.
I always thought that the Jumbotron was toughest on officials. Because everybody's got that instant evaluation process. Oh, look what a bad call.
Yeah, here we go. The Hair Bear bunch is in the crowd for Stevenson today.
3rd and 7 from the 41. Stanford rolls to throw. There's Ryan Losh, who's been in his face all day, and he's just going to throw this away. Ryan Losh, number 6, has been in the backfield with Frank Stanford like they're holding hands. Yeah, somebody's got to put a shoulder on him and slow him down a little bit.
He's been coming off the perimeter, right off the corner, and Walled Lake hasn't had anyone out there to pick him up, and Losh is coming basically unhindered to the quarterback, and you're not going to have time to throw when you got a guy like Losh coming without anyone trying to get in his way.
And the thing that's particularly effective is they're coming from Stanford's passing side, so he's got to roll to his weak side, if you will, and throw across his body. That makes it all the more difficult for him.
And they're trying to pressure that side because they anticipate that that's the side Stanford's going to go to, his left.
Matt Resnick to return Pat Gibson's punt. Big rush coming. Gibson just got it away. Resnick is going to run over and field it on the run near the sidelines at about the 12-yard line. That was very dangerous duty, the way the ball was tailing away from him, but he held on. And so with 2:09 to go in the half, the Titans of Sterling Heights Stevenson get the ball back.
Yeah, you're going to watch the pressure, and that's coming from the outside. A good job of just knocking him out of the way, making sure that it's not a block kick, and that's the kind of play that'll turn a game around like this. And last time the Titans had the ball, as you look at Morandi, the man who had the pressure, or actually had the block, last time the Titans had the ball, they moved it smartly down the field until a turnover put it going the other way. See how they do this time.
Frank and Alls lined up behind Collins. Joe Alls, little seam on the right side, but not much. The first man there didn't actually get the tackle, but Nick Gerhardt broke the play down, put an arm on Alls, and then all sorts of buddies in red shirts got there to make sure he didn't go anywhere.
Yeah, Kevin Crane was one of those shirts that got in there and helped make the stop on Alls. They've been able to contain him pretty good so far today. He's gotten a few 7-8 yard runs, but for the most part, he hasn't busted out a big one.
I mentioned earlier, and I think it bears repeating, we expected these teams to put points on the board, but they have gone up and down the field. They just haven't got it into the end zone.
Good defense in the red zone.
There's the fullback, Andy Frank, dragging people across the 15, but again, Walled Lake Western playing very well positionally and bouncing off the blocks. You saw number 53 get up. That's Chad Stevenson, a 5'8 junior who was in at linebacker. He got there very quickly, as did Adam Armitage, number 44. So that's going to bring up 3rd and 6.
3rd and 6. I expect that you'll see Collins on the rollout with a run-pass option and try and get something on the perimeter. They've had some chances earlier with the ball, with the play being open. So I expect that they'll go back to that.
You saw how Walled Lake Western lined up in kind of a bunch, almost as if they're masking their defensive set until Sterling Heights Stevenson comes to the line. Collins rolling out of the blitz, but here comes some more red shirts. He steps up, sidearms tipped, incomplete. And I'll say this, he's fortunate that that's not a turnover. He did everything he could, but kind of threw into traffic, and when Tim Steele couldn't hang on to it, the ball was tipped up in the air and was ripe for the picking.
Yeah, it was Scott Nays on the defense and making the play. Here comes the pressure, the rollout, as I said, and now that you get the pressure coming up, no one open, and Collins is able to dodge the first guy, throw a little side armor over there, and Nays is able to tip it away, and it was almost picked off that time by number 27, Kevin Thomas.
Yep. So Dave Dunlap will stand back near his goal line to punt it away, and the Jet, Scott Nays, figures to take this right about the midfield stripe. Big rush, it's blocked into the end zone. And that's a Walled Lake Western touchdown. It's recovered by Jason Brewer for the touch. And I didn't see who blocked it. Morandi might have been the guy to block it.
Morandi that got it.
And it's recovered by Jason Brewer for the score with 27 seconds left in the half.
Take another look at it. Here's the punter, and this is how you block a kick, boy. You lay out right in front of it. You can see Morandi come in. Boom. Got the hand. Perfect block. And now it's up in the air, up for grabs, and there's Morandi, the man who made the big play right there to put Western up on the board again with their second touchdown of the day.
You know, there's an old an axiom in hockey: you never want to give up a goal in the last minute of a period. You give up a touchdown in the last 30 seconds of the half. Extra point attempt. Splits the uprights. Pat Gibson makes it 14-3 Walled Lake Western just before half. What an emotional lift for the Warriors. Conversely, what a crusher for the Titans.
Well, it's a tough thing to overcome a blocked punt, because we're going to watch it again. Here's the guy coming right off the corner right there. Go ahead and let it roll. They got stacked 3 guys out there, and they're going to be able to pick up one of them, but not the other one, and he gets through. In fact, he overran it. He had to reach back, did Morandi, to get the block. And
look, 1, 2, 3, 4 shirts.
Yeah, they got 4 guys coming. That's a block attempt all the way, and they must have studied this film, and they knew they had something over there, and with the speed that Morandi has coming off the corner, he's able to put the block on it, and Walled Lake takes a big 14-3 lead with 27 seconds left here in the first half. And John, I'm a little surprised. I expected Stevenson to put more points on the board than they have thus far.
Well, it's been Walled Lake Western's speed on offense and defense.
And special teams.
And special teams that have flustered the Titans to this point. You diagrammed that perfectly. 2 guys coming untouched on the right side. One guy picks up one, somebody else walks in.
Yeah, it's a really tough spot to be the blocker there. You want to get the most dangerous man, the inside man, and a lot of times they'll teach a technique, a double bump, where you're going to hit the one guy and try and get a hand on the other guy and just knock his course off, but they weren't able to do that. And then I guarantee you that Rick Vai and his staff will address that one at halftime. They don't want to see that happen again.
Pat Gibson readies his Warriors to kick it off with Mike Tennessee and Joe Alls deep. A couple of guys with afterburners of their own. Gibson's just going to hammer this. Alls at his 2. To the 21.
Well, I mentioned that double bump technique, John, and that's one of the things you can learn at the Ray Bentley MC Sports football camp.
Smooth,
how about that
smooth
transition? Thanks to Jim in the truck for that one. But nonetheless, this is a football camp where we bring in up to a dozen NFL players. We've got the best area high school coaches in West Michigan, and we bring in college coaches, and we go 3 days, and then we work on various techniques in terms of the game of football, but we also teach kids how to train, how to prepare themselves. A lot of kids are willing to give that effort, but then they don't have the knowledge of what program they should be on. We give them that there, and it's been a great 2 years so far. We're going for our 3rd year this June.
Collins, that is a lateral out to Alls, but he's got no room. And for those of you who are interested in Ray's camp, come the second half, we're going to put up a graphic with the phone number and such. But you're going to tell us straight a phone number?
616-531-0990. There it is. You can call and get all the information right there.
I'm sure everybody will remember that image forever, burned into their psyches. 14 seconds left here. Alls only got a couple there. There's Ray's
There we
game.
go.
Now, which one looked better? When he did that stuff or that number right there?
That's the one right there. You got to remember that one.
We'll mention it again in the second half.
Yeah, last year we had Chris Spielman come in and Scott Kolakowski, Will Wolford, an all-pro lineman, and Joel Schmengi, and just lots of NFL guys come in, and boy, it's a great time.
Well, we covered it for television over in Grand Rapids, and I've covered some other camps where you bring in pro players, and for 5 minutes they make a little presentation and the kids are all agog and then they leave. Your camp, I will say, is different in that those guys, Chris Spielman, Will Wolford, et cetera, are hands-on coaching, teaching, and actually playing a little ball with them.
Oh, yeah, they get in there and they work with them, and then at the end of each day, we play a little flag football, and those guys always wanted to be a quarterback. Spielman wanted to play quarterback.
I remember that, yep.
And Scott Kolakowski wanted to be a quarterback, so we let him play quarterback, and boy, we have a good time with it.
I will say this, though. I thought it was rude of Spielman to hurt a couple of the little kids. I thought Chris got a little...
Well, he had his game face
That's
on,
right.
you know, what are you going to
say?
He only knows one way to play.
Even if it's an 8-year-old in front of him, right?
Yeah, you know, the kid, he went out on the field, he took his chances,
That's right. 14 seconds left here. We had a timeout. Walled Lake Western discussing how to deploy deep, figuring that Pat Collins might be chucking the ball here. And you see Stevenson coach Rick Bye figuring out what to do on your own 23-yard line with 14 seconds left in the half. I think the operative word here is be careful. You want to throw it, that's fine. You don't want to get sacked and lose the ball.
Right, and with the blitz that's been coming all day from Walled Lake, it's a danger.
Here it comes again. Collins running for his life, and now he's going to keep it. He's got some room, and he's got to get out of bounds, and he will do so. Well, there's a flag.
Yeah, they're going to call that.
Going to get a clip. Yep.
That's on Tim Steele. He tried not to. He tried to get the angle, but he just didn't have it, and they're going to bring that one back.
3 seconds left. Collins did stop the clock just shy of midfield, but this is going to be a penalty. And what's most costly, perhaps, is that Brett Fooney, number 2, may have been the clip person. He limps off the field for Walled Lake Western.
Well, that was a nice little twist move inside, and that enabled the rush to come in. There's the clip
right there.
I'm not so sure on that.
Well, you hear the Stevenson fans watching the replay here. They agree with Ray.
Yeah, they're not too happy about it either. Couldn't quite see it there, but look to me. There's the. Got to be on your toes on the sideline,
whether you're a coach or not.
That's the first thing they teach you.
You saw Frank Stanford laughing at his coach. He said, "Hey, wait a minute, coach. You got to be ready." Well, the penalty will mark it back to the 26-yard line, and so barring another penalty, Sterling Heights Stevenson will have one more play here before the first half concludes. They've called a timeout to get things sorted out. That coach, I hope that tape is around for that coach to look at, because they will show that over and over at the football banquet if they haven't had it yet. Now here comes Collins.
They'll have fun with that.
There's the blitz again, flushing him, and he puts it on his hip and he goes. But watch how this play ends.
That was 78 Dan Thompson putting the pressure on with a nice twist move. But this is when you got to watch out when you're standing on the sideline right there. Look out.
Oh.
Yeah.
And Gary Butsky standing there saying, "Hey, coach, what do you say?"
Yeah, they're still giving it to him. Yeah, they're going to have fun with that one. They're lining up. They're lining up to see that one.
Well, I'll say this. It's a lot more fun when you're leading 14-3.
That it is.
If they were down 14-3, that wouldn't be anywhere near as amusing.
No, not for a while anyway.
No, that's right. That's right. Well, Walled Lake Western has 3 defensive backs, 25 to 30 yards off the ball. That's the center fielder, the right fielder, and the left fielder.
Yeah, to teach this to the Lions on how to defend that Hail Mary.
They're going to blitz again. Collins steps up and tries to throw, but a hand up behind, and let's give credit where credit is due. Les Thompson knocked it down. That's the end of a fascinating first half. Walled Lake Western with speed and quickness, leading Sterling Heights Stevenson 14-3. You're watching the MHSAA on Pass.
Proud sponsor of the MHSAA Scholar Athlete Award, and by the United Dairy Industry of Michigan, promoting healthy eating habits through the Sports Nutrition Award Program.
Well, there you see the crowd, and there you see the pertinent numbers. Walled Lake Western leading at halftime 14-3. I think, Ray, you made a very salient point at the beginning of the game. You talked about the mutual opponents and how the Western Warriors felt that they matched up. In spite of what had happened with some other teams, they felt they were able to match up with Sterling Heights Stevenson. I think you've seen their defensive matchup take away Stevenson's strength. And on offense, they've been able to take advantage of their quickness, their one big plus.
Well, Walled Lake has been able to shut down the run relatively well, but what they've really done is they've gotten pressure on Collins every time he's gone back there, and he really hasn't had a chance to get anything going. You got to look for Sterling Heights to get in there and figure out how to stop that, how to pick up that blitz, and then they'll get something going via the air, and I'm sure they'll figure something out. And I look for a great game in the second half.
And a huge emotional swing with the block punt for a touchdown.
Yeah, that makes a difference. It's very hard to overcome a block punt and win a football game. It can be done, but it's very difficult.
We're at halftime. Walled Lake Western up 14-3. One of your sponsors is Farm Bureau Insurance.
In every corner of the state, Michigan folks receive a special kind of insurance help from Farm Bureau insurance agents. Help when it counts. People talking with people, and that'll never change. Wherever you live, whatever your lifestyle, your Farm Bureau agent...
My good fortune to have the boss join us. Jack Roberts, the executive director of the Michigan High School Athletic Association. I put this same line to you last year, and I think the year before, I'm going to use it one more time. This sure is fun.
It really is. And yesterday we had our second largest attendance in history since we've gone to 8 championship games. We had our largest session ever last night. So we're real pleased, and we think the excitement's kind of caught on.
I want to ask you about something that happened a few weeks ago. There's a story out of Anniston, Alabama. High school there implemented more stringent grades. Basically, if you didn't pass, you didn't play, or you couldn't participate in extracurricular activities. And I think the numbers were something like 550 out of 850 kids could not participate. A huge hue and cry goes up, and some kids are saying, wait a minute, it's our right to be in the band. It's our right to play football. I know across the country a lot of high school athletic associations have been debating or arguing right versus privilege. What do you think about that?
Well, it's clearly a privilege. I think it's a privilege to play not only in championship games like this, but it's a privilege to play all season long. And I think the courts in this land are pretty clear that it isn't a right to play, it's a privilege to play, a privilege you earn by meeting certain standards, and one of those standards is meeting the academic standards of your school.
I know that in some places it's gone so far as court arguments over right versus privilege and who's allowed to play and who's not allowed to play. That's unfortunate, isn't it?
It is. We spend too much time in court in all aspects of society, and certainly we're not immune from it in interscholastic athletics. But generally, the rules of the high school association, which are the rules of the schools, will be upheld by the court.
I know, Jack, over years, you and I have talked a lot about the sportsmanship issue, and it has been a major thrust nationwide. It's been a particular major thrust in Michigan. Still significant issue as far as you're concerned?
It is something we can never let up on, because as soon as we think we have things going well, things can break down. And as society is breaking down generally, and schools have higher difficulty having higher standards, we just know that that's going to carry over to interscholastic athletics. So we have to keep vigilant in athletics in order just to keep even with things as society seems to break down around us.
As executive director, you get to have the fun times like this. You also have some of the less fun times when you have to argue and wrestle. Is the situation still in Michigan on solid footing, on good ground as far as you're concerned?
Oh, I think so. I think we have as healthy an interscholastic athletic program as anywhere in the country. I think financially our schools are struggling like others, but they're still able to provide adequate opportunities to kids, and kids are taking advantage of that privilege and playing in record numbers.
Those of us who get to be involved as media members have fun every year. Is it still fun for you, even though this is your quote-unquote job?
Yes, it is fun, and you know I'm the father of some who have played in interscholastic athletics, so it's fun as an administrator, it's fun as a father, too.
Jack, good to see you every year, and it's good to come in a very positive situation like this and get to talk with you and share some thoughts and opinions. Good to see you again.
Thank you, John.
Jack Roberts, the executive director of the Michigan High School Athletic Association, joining us at halftime. One of your sponsors, the United Dairy Industry of Michigan. We thought this would be an interesting matchup, and a matchup that could have gone back and forth. There's been some back, not much forth. Right now, Walled Lake Western has taken it to Sterling Heights Stevenson.
Yeah, they're using their weapons, John, the speed and the quickness that we talked about. The question, though, is, are they getting worn down a little bit? The Titans have the huge size, and they've been pounding at them a little bit, and if it weren't for the one turnover and then the block punt, this could be a different ball game. So I think it's going to be close in the second half.
And I think the tone for this was set very early. First possession, Walled Lake Western moved the ball a little bit, and then Frank Stanford, their scooter all over the place quarterback, really scooted. Take a look at this.
Yeah, he did. This is just an effort play by Stanford. He breaks the tackle right here, and now he's off to the races. He's going to have a whole brigade of players